Welcome, everybody. I have to stand here. I have to look at this because we are live, so excuse me for that. I will look back at everybody as well also. Sam Ratner, Ruth Ratner, Keller Williams Realty. Want to thank everybody for coming. Appreciate it. Online here in person as well also. We have a small audience and thank you for gathering. We appreciate it. Thanks for coming out. Had a number of other folks come on, said that they were coming and just kind of begged at the last minute, and that's okay, and that happens. However, we are recording it, so if you want to go back and watch it later on, we'll have it as well also. We'll also send it out as a recording. So I see you're going to take some notes. Feel free. We're here for that. Absolutely. I need my glasses. Need my glasses as much as I can try and see. Thank you. Ruth and I just want to say thanks to everybody. We do run a top 1% real estate team here throughout Connecticut. We are licensed in Florida as well also. We know when it comes to real estate, you certainly have choices. We know that when you sell, you're left with your home sale and your net equity. When you buy, you're left with your home purchase and your customer experience. And we just try and make that as stress-free and as easy for everybody as possible. Chris and Pam, we met, what, a year ago now, I think it was, almost?
Actually, last fall, was it?
Was it
Yeah,
the
I think
fall?
it was
Yeah.
Last fall.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
I was contemplating retiring and I did pull the trigger and
Right.
just
Yeah,
trying to get the house in order and maybe
Yeah.
put the on the market next spring.
exactly. And your situation is very common for us, and that's why I asked about that, is because we have a lot of folks that are ready now, that pull the trigger now, today, next month, that kind of thing. And a lot of folks that are ready a year, excuse me, a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year. We have one, I think the longest was about almost 4 years. That we worked with them over that course of time. So for folks that are thinking, when is the right time? It's really when they're ready. And it was another couple that was here in town. And over the course of that 3, 4 years, they did a lot of improvements to their home and they got to enjoy it as well also. So there are things that we will talk about during this whole presentation. I know we gave you all a to-do list as well, and you've been working through that,
Checking things off.
checking it off, and we have folks that are coming on June 16th, as a matter of fact, that we've been working with right around the same time that we met with you all. They're here in town as well also. They've been going through their to-do list, and we were just there about 4 weeks ago.
I sold their house over 20 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. One of the very first, yeah, so a lot of that cycle is coming back around for us of folks that sold them many years ago. Now the kids are buying and selling, that mom and dad are getting out of the big house, moving on,
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. So this isn't a presentation, this is a workshop, just like when I sat at your house and I met with you all. This is a workshop. You'll have any questions at any time. Feel free. If anybody's out in the audience, Rob, they throw a chat up, just let me know. And I appreciate that. I don't think there was really much of anything else in here that I missed on this, and I'm just gonna talk about what we will be discussing through. We're gonna talk about the trends of what's going on. I'm expecting it to probably be about 20, 30 minutes-ish or so, and open for a lot of conversation after that for questions that you all have. But if you haven't as I'm going along, feel free. I've got a lot of information about trends. You all are all from Cheshire, so I do have some Cheshire stats. I brought those with me as well also to update us as to what's going on with that. We're going to talk about the home buying process, what it takes to go through. Where will I go when I sell? Everybody always has that question. The biggest question is, well, where will I go? There's not any inventory on the market. I don't want a second move. I was just with clients last night having that exact same conversation. They're buying new construction up in New Britain. And they're trying to juggle that. All right, we're going to close come the end of this year. They live right here in Southington. And they're kind of nervous about, well, I don't want a second move and storage of everything. And how do I juggle all of that? And then we start having that conversation, Ruth and I, about having taken that monkey off your back because it's impossible to calculate timing. When is the new house going to be ready? Great, the seller wants to close here for the new construction. And if you don't close on time, you're penalized for dollars every day. And yet you're trying to find the buyer at the right time, which is impossible to time. So we have a lot of strategic conversation with everybody on a regular basis. And then we're going to talk about how do you capitalize on the market as to, is it a seller's market? Is it a buyer's market? It really doesn't matter. You see the commercials with Realtor.com and from the CTMLS here. It's a U market. It's a real estate market. It's ready. The market's for when you're ready is really what it comes down to. I have this slide up. A lot of it is really about our new program that we started to roll out about 2 years ago. Unlike a traditional realtor that's going to come in and talk to you, and a lot of your traditional realtors will use their phone to take photos. We have professional photography on staff. A lot of this that we talk about when we sit at people's homes as well also, but I'm just going to read from the screen only because it's easier, so excuse me for it. The program is really, we minimize the negative effect of time on the market to motivate interested buyers to make an offer instead of continuing to look at other homes and determine the highest price the buyers will pay for your home even after they make an offer. Meaning that we use a great starting price. We look to not price it so high that we don't attract the buyers, and it's not so low that you feel that you're giving your house away or somebody's going to steal it from you, because that's just never going to happen. Nobody's ever going to steal your home. We've had homes that have sold for $5,000 over the starting price, and other properties have sold for $100,000 over the starting price. We had one just 2-3 months ago. It was listed at $949. It wound up closing in $985, $983. And that happens in every price range, whether it's $200,000 home, whether it's $1 million plus home. At the right price, you're going to get multiple buyers, you're going to get multiple offers on the home. So you have questions as I'm going along. The screen that I've got up right now, it really just talks about everything I'm going to talk about later on in the process. And I'll send everybody out slides about this as well also. These are just 7 great questions that if you're thinking about how does the home get sold, what's our process, this is a lot of the process as to how do we minimize the negative effect of time on the market. Some of it I'm going to talk about actually all of it I'm going to talk about during the presentation. Your home in this market should be in, out, and off the market and under contract within about that 1 week period. When it's not, we're simply at the wrong price. It's not about condition. It's not about location. We've sold homes next to highways. We've sold homes next to cemeteries. We've sold homes after the tornado in 17, missing half a roof and a side wall within days. Right price, right condition. Nobody's going to steal a property from you. I bring this slide up. Jane, can you see the screen okay? Do you want me to move the computer?
No.
Okay. I bring this slide up because this is a big question that we get a lot of times as to everybody's moving out of Connecticut. Everybody's moving out. Nobody wants to be here. They talk about the economy and the politics and everything else that goes around about that. And the truth is that this is where a Connecticut seller is moving to. The next slide is where are the buyers coming from. We have a lot of other great graphics. I just brought up these 2 for now. As you see up top, almost 1,400 sellers are moving to Florida. New York, Massachusetts, the Carolinas, California, Texas, and it just goes down from there. These are small numbers because the numbers are predicated on us as realtors putting the information into the system correctly. Some realtors, when they close out the property that's listed for sale, won't enter this information. They just bypass the screen. However, for those that do use it, do have admins as we have on our team and work this at a professional level, we get a lot of great information. We have, what is it? It's 2 million sales nearly, about a 1.6 million sales throughout the state. So when we're only looking at 1,400 that are moving to Florida, they're small numbers. So a lot of folks are moving around throughout the state. Does that make sense? Where the buyer's coming from? They're coming from New York, Mass, Florida, Rhode Island. They're coming from all over. It's not this fallacy, everybody's moving out. There's still a good number. There's 2,700 folks coming in. When we go back to the sellers, there's 1,400 moving out when you look at the top number. Even just take the 2 top numbers. There's 21, there's 22, about 2,300 people that are moving out. and you have already 3,600 that are moving in. We watch the multiple listing service every single day. And what we know since COVID, because we watched it well before that, but even since COVID, when it happened in 2020, this year, the last 2 years, right now over a 7-day period, about 900 to 1,100 homes get listed throughout the whole state of Connecticut every 7 days. And about 12 to 1,400 go under contract. Meaning more are going under contract every day than what gets listed. And yet there's still very little inventory. When I talk about that, I have some sheets here if you all want to just kind of take a look at them, but just take a quick look at it. I have Cheshire in front of us, and what we're looking at is active on the market right now in all of Cheshire is only 29 homes for sale. I'm only talking about single family homes, not condos included. When I take out the new construction, there's only 16 homes for sale that are resales.
They're all relative to what it was when it was a buyer's market before COVID.
Right.
So,
So I was thinking, and that's a great input. So before COVID, before that 2020 mark, we would have at this time of the year about 90 to 120 homes active on the market for sale
In Cheshire.
in Cheshire.
and every town had the same kind of patterns,
Right.
they're all relative. You know, we went from a buyer's market to a seller's market, so. You
Yeah,
guys are in a position right now, 5 years, we're in 2025, it's only 5 years into a seller's market. And that's great for your sellers.
yeah, as a seller, it's phenomenal. Just some quick stats for you, since we're talking stats as to what's going on. This is across the country. This is not Connecticut, these next couple of slides that I'm going to show to us. For the last 3 years, 23, 24, 25 projected, it's just flat. It's about 4 million homes across the country selling. The peak of COVID, there was 6.3 million. You see the magenta line going across, that's the median. That's where it should be at about this 4 million number. The early 2000s, right up to the 2008, before the financial crash, that was the big sellers market. You see the next one that comes up around 18, 19 or so. When then we get into COVID, we get at 6 million. So there's good information. Homes are selling every day. I was just on the phone this morning with some folks in Georgia, as a matter of fact. And they're thinking, oh my gosh, the market's terrible. I'm not going to sell. I hear about the economy. I hear about this, the interest rates, and there's a lot of fear factor from certain people, certain groups. Reality is it doesn't matter. Homes sell every single day of the week throughout the country. People moving out of mom and dad's house, they're getting out of college, they're moving into a condo, they're getting divorced, there's death, there's divorce, there's all sorts of different reasons for that. Home prices, the blue line that you see there, that's the appreciation line. That's the 4% typical appreciation line. What's going on with it? We had the financial crash, that 8 to 10 time period during the big sellers market. We took that dip down, and it just took those 10 years for it to come back and recover because the economy was slow. During that time, that's when we saw the low interest rates. And I'll go into that on the next slide as well also. I was just on the phone with somebody just before we got here. I'm not selling, I have 3.58% interest rate. Okay, I get that. And we've also appreciated with the equity that we've gotten in the homes. So we get these calls all day long. I have 2 3/4, 3 5/8 interest rate. I don't want to sell. I said, is it really about the interest rate or is it about your monthly mortgage? Because now that your home prices have appreciated almost 100% in some cases for a lot of people, 50 to 100%, if they were 300 and now they're selling for 600, that's a good bump. And if you're taking that out and buying into your next home, yes, I know interest rates are 6 or 7%. And is it about the interest rate or is it about your monthly payment? Because if your new home, yes, I have to pay high and you're selling high, but if your monthly payment is less than today, It's a bonus, isn't it? Here we talk about the inventory overall. We spoke about this a moment ago here in Cheshire and surrounding towns. The blue line going across, that's what we call a balanced market between a seller's market and a buyer's market. That's your barometer right there. We're well below it at 2 months, 3 months worth of inventory. Here in Connecticut, this is across the country. Here in Connecticut, in New Haven County, Middlesex area, we're running days and weeks, not months. So it truly is a seller's market. Last piece on the data piece of it, the bottom blue line is that 6%. That's about where we should be financially anyway. Where you see the dips below there, you're seeing, I can't point to it on screen because everybody else on Zoom won't see us. You see the dips, those are down in the 2 and 3% ranges, as you can tell just from looking at the pictures. That's just not a healthy economy. It means that there's an issue going on and it needed to recover. That whole 10, 11, 14, 17, going into 19, just before COVID, housing was really soft. It was taking 9, 8, 18 months, 24 months to sell a home. Sellers had a price, they had a need, they had a want, it wasn't realistic, buyers weren't moving. Real estate drives the economy. And when the real estate's not moving, the Fed has to adjust the interest rate, is really all that it comes down to. Things are happening. We're back at about this 6%. Would everybody like to see back into the fives? They would, but 5 and 6 is about where it should be. Questions on any of that? This just really talks about sides per age. I'll go into it real quickly. We have right now about 1.5 million realtors across the country. We had about 1.2 million just before the economic crash in 08, 010. Lost about 400,000 because they just simply got out of the business. Well, now that business is light right now, the average realtor is selling about 5 homes a year. That's kind of poverty. It's kind of, should I be working at Walmart and getting health insurance and everything else? Where last year we sold 73 homes. I don't say it to impress y'all, just impress upon you. We know what it takes to get homes sold and for more money than the starting price of where it should be to help get you into the condition of what your home should be. This number is the average number when you look at it. Yes, it was a peak back in 2000 of 13, 14 homes per side. That's still not very good because at that time, the average sale price was much less. All right, now they're selling 5 or 6 homes a year. The barometer should be that 9.5 or so. But even still, it's.
To the point being, I'll just say.
Thank you, please.
5%.
Just speak up so everybody else can hear
Yes,
that.
5% of the realtors out there are doing 95% of the business.
Yes.
There's very few people selling 30 or 40 homes. So interviewing and finding the right team, just like brain surgery, to find your right doctor team or attorney, if something major going on, you gotta find the best. There's no room for mediocrity, and look how much mediocrity there is.
Mm-hmm.
So very few are top experts and run their business like that.
Right. And I'm just going to repeat for the audience, only in case they couldn't hear, just 5% of the realtors do 95% of the business out there. I'll just leave it at that for that piece of it. A little bit about the process. Let's get into some more of what you all came for. There's a couple of items that hurt you as a seller when it comes time to pricing your home correctly in the marketplace. First one happens to be time on the market. This chart that you're seeing on the screen, this covers a 45-day period. Sellers in every market are either happy or disappointed. They're happy when it sells quickly and for the right price. Time, as we like to say, is never on your side. The longer a home is on the market, the less that you will get as a seller. Because as soon as it's longer than the time a home should sell, and I'm gonna go into timing for a second. The buyers immediately think, what's wrong with that home? Why didn't it sell? Why didn't another buyer buy it? When homes are selling, in this case, in 3 to 7 days. It's a week and a half later, 2 weeks later, why didn't it sell? Well, I'm not in a rush. I don't have to sell right away. I want this, I want that. This is a 45-day window of, as we like to say, trying to chase the ball downhill, trying to attract the buyers to come and buy your home, where reality is within that first 3 to 5 days, we should have showings and we should have offers. In this market, we should have multiple offers, and you shouldn't have to be negotiating with the buyer. The buyers will negotiate with themselves and present the highest price possible, kind of like an auction, if you want to think about it that way. The second price depressing problem that we have as a seller, this is a 1 week window, is when the buyers delay to make an offer. When the buyers walk in the home and they're not excited about the home in that first couple of days, that first day, the first 3 days, they're going to wait a week or so, and then they're going to come back. And we have our buyers do it all day long. Yeah, I'm not excited. Let me come back. Maybe I'll see it next weekend. Well, at this price, the home probably won't be here. At this price, yeah, the home probably will be here. And Ruth has these conversations with our buyers every single day as to where should I be? When should I make an offer? Yeah, it's probably a little bit overpriced. Let's put an offer in at this price. This window here is showing, so the last window showed when you're waiting this month and a half and the sellers are choosing to not adjust their price for the buyers, it's somewhere about a 10% reduction. So if your home is, I'm going to pick a round number, $500,000, that's a $50,000 hit, and then this buyers are going to make even a lesser offer. Versus if it was just priced a little bit better and ahead of the market, you'd have multiple offers and get more than that instead of adjusting. This 1 week window, same issue. It was still talking about a 6 to 8% reduction, even just 1 week, because they weren't excited immediately. And I'm going to talk to you right now about how do we help you with all of that. It's a quick 12-step process that we have. How does our program work? What's going on with it? Chris, Pam, I know I was out to your house just last fall. We chatted about this, but a little bit of refreshing for us. Other folks that are out there as well that are seeing us online. How do we get folks to make inquiries? How do we get more inquiries for our buyers? We use a great system. We used to use, and we've tried different methodologies. So when do we come on the market? What happens with it? Do we use coming soon? Do we do staging? Do we do all of, yes, we do all of that, and I'm going to talk about it right now. However, our process today is we will come on with the coming soon, typically Thursday, Friday, the week before we actually go live. We bring all of our listings live on Monday. Then we look to have our showings, because a lot of times our sellers want to adjust and they don't want the buyers in. What we're finding is that a lot of our sellers are saying, I don't want everybody in Monday at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. It's nice that it's summertime. I want to be home. And then again, all week long. And then, oh, I got to get out of my house for the weekend. So a lot of our sellers have asked us, how can we compress that a little bit? So many of our sellers will say and ask, well, can we do it during the week and on the weekend? And can we compress those windows a little bit as well also? And we do that, and we'll talk to you about timing with that when we meet with you personally one-on-one. And what we find is when we compress those showings together, that's when we get the most excitement from the buyers. A lot of it, I'll show you later on, is about the fear of missing out. However, we do have professional photographers on our staff. We have, I didn't speak about it earlier. I take care of running and listing manage the listing side of the business. Ruth manages and runs the buying side of our business. And we work together when we need to make sure that our clients are fully taken care of. I need to go out for a showing, I need to help with a listing, whatever. We operate as one, as a team, as far as that goes. We have a full-time admin on our staff. She takes care of all paperwork, contract, working with the attorneys, the inspectors, the appraisers, anybody that happens to work. Kind of like when you go to your doctor's office. Your doctor doesn't take your blood pressure, doesn't do your intake. Penny on our team, our admin, manages all of that as far as contracts, paperwork, managing all of that. We also have Pia on our team. She handles everything about marketing and social media. So that takes care of that piece of it, and they're helping out in the background right now with all of it. We have professional photographers on our staff. We have professional stager on our staff. And we're going to talk about that right now. So our professional photographer comes out, takes all the photos. The most that the MLS will allow is 40 photos. Some homes, we only need 20 or 30. Other homes, we need 40 to 60 photos. Depends on what we need. There are also drone pilot photographers when we have it for those certain homes. So we take care of all of that. However, we're only promoting your fewer and best photos. We want to make sure it's kind of like when the new iPhone comes out, you only see a splash. You see a splash of, all right, here's a few bits of detail. Here's some pictures about it. Now come to the store and come buy it. That's what we want the buyers doing with your house. Seeing a couple of photos, that's really important and exciting to them. We don't want them seeing something that may turn them off. And we want to have good language, which is our curiosity creating ad copy, which is what we use. We not put in there, come see this beautiful 27-bed home with 18 bathrooms that was freshly painted. We want to have better language in there. So we use that on all of our listings as well also. We look at our competition-based pricing. The competition-based pricing, old school, we used to look at, all right, what just sold and what went under contract. Do we look at that? Yes, we absolutely do. However, more importantly today, we're looking at the competition-based pricing, which is what's active on the market today. Those homes that are active, what are the buyers going to be looking at for your price range? Are they sitting on the market? Did they sell? What's happening with them? And at any given price range, if you look at the charts here, there's usually only 2 or 4 homes anyway, sometimes 1 or 2. All right, how long have they been on the market? And we want to make sure that they're your competition, that you're pricing ahead of them. We want you to be on the market and off the market because you're going to get more money for it at that point. What happens? We come live on a market. We get the social marketing going. Everything starts happening on that Friday. All of the activity starts happening. We start to come live usually on that Monday or so. The buyers are calling in. The agents are calling in. They want to get activity on it. We're offering the opportunity to come see the home. Where does the magic happen? When we start those first showings. We stand at your front door. We have all your marketing profile information, everything about the home. We share directly with the buyers. Why you as the seller selling? A lot of buyers, I'll call it almost 100% of all of our buyers walk in the house. Why is the seller selling? Okay, great question. And most realtors will say, I'm sorry, I can't tell you that. We like to share that story, your story, with them as to, well, the kids grew up, they're moving to Florida, they're moving to Carolina, they're moving to wherever the case may be, whatever the story may be. They're moving to a new construction over a couple of towns, whatever that story is, because the buyers just want to know. So we share that story with them. We offer them the opportunity to walk through the home. We want to make sure that we're capturing them and talking to them on the way back out again as well also. We're offering them an opportunity to let them know that we are going to do an open house later on and during the week. Many times our listings go to contract before that open house even happens though. So it is exciting, and those buyers are then working with each other to happen with it. We just broke.
So Thursday night is an open house. We usually make it private to agents and buyers that have called. And then some cases we watch it and we'll do go public on it. And we see that activity, so that by Saturday's open house, that's
Just
public,
speak up a little bit.
we're able to now decide what happened. Like, was there a ton of activity? Will there be an amazing buyer that just wants to shut it down? They're giving you terms like are so amazing, and you're just like, I really don't want to show my house anymore, so I don't care. We've done that a lot in the last year, where the best buyers come out and they've lost homes and they shut down an open house on Saturday. And then some sellers just want to play it out for the weekend anyways, and then they meet, Sam will meet with you on a Monday.
Exactly. There's one that we just brought on this week. Today is Wednesday. Just brought one on Monday afternoon. It's already had many showings with multiple offers. Sellers aren't living in a home, so it makes it a little bit easier and flexible for the buyers to be able to come in and see that particular home. Multiple offers over their starting price, and the seller's going to be enjoying it as far as that goes. Last piece of it is our BCW. It talks about during inspection period. Some homes are selling without inspections. Many homes are still getting inspections. Our job is to work with you on the inspections. When we sit with everybody at the home, some sellers will say, I have an old roof, I have an old furnace, I have an old AC, I have old hot water heater. We talk about all of that at your table. Should it be replaced? Should it not be replaced prior to listing? Do we deal with that during inspection time? Our job is to be expert negotiators. Primarily, I leave this slide up here for a moment, is to be the expert negotiators, because rarely does our seller lose a buyer because of inspection negotiation. Our job is to be expert negotiators to help work you
So
through
BCW, can't read it.
broken
means
cosmetic
broken,
one.
Cosmetic or worn. So this is the process you get into when we come over. And then we go through a few months and we'll have some ideas and give you really good, tips and feedback. What things should you focus on that are broken, cosmetic or worn? What will get you top dollar? It's all about netting you top dollar.
Thank you. Last piece, well, I have two more pieces in the slides here for us. The whole idea of the program is to create a mindset journey for the buyer, is to create the FOMO, the fear of missing out. The idea is we want to price it and market it correctly so that other buyers know that other buyers are looking at the home also, versus just letting buyers go in, one here, one there, one here, and they don't know anybody else is looking at the home. When everybody else is looking at the home together, they feel that sense of urgency. Last two slides I have on it is important slides to take. There's important slides to take a look at. Declutter your home. This talks about staging your home, talks about getting it ready. This isn't talking about fixing the door that doesn't close or light switch that doesn't work. This is talking about making it look like I'm dressing for the holidays. Walking into a model home, walking into Crate and Barrel, walking into Restoration Hardware, something like that, versus walking into a place that somebody may be renting and there's just college kids living in there. Okay. I left the picture fuzzy. I didn't clean it all up. Yes, there's wallpaper on the walls, but my point is that it's very distracting for a buyer versus the next slide that I'm going to show you. Has the red rug underneath, it has the blue oriental on top of it. It has all of the mismatched color cushions on it. It has the gray frames on the walls. There's wallpaper on it, and this could be dressed a lot differently with all of the many colors going on around it. That's where Kim, our stager, really comes in to help shine about that as far as that goes. Here is the idea of what a buyer wants to see. When a buyer sees something like this, they think right away, I probably need to invest tens of thousands of dollars to make this look the way I want to look at. This here is really just plain walls, simple, everything off the shelves, and some new modern furniture without the busy flooring. It's really, yes, they're two different rooms and two different pictures. This is what a buyer is looking for and what gets them excited. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Last piece. Thanks for coming. If you have any questions online, book an appointment.